Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Yes and Podcast, the podcast about all things Arcadia theater. I'm your host, Zara Peters, and today I'm here with three wonderfully talented individuals. Would you care to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Micah Grundy. I use he, they pronouns. I am a freshman English major, and I play Ernst in Spring Awakening.
Woo!
A non-theater major.
Whoa! Bet you we won't be talking about that later.
Wow.
Wow.
Anyway.
I'm Christian, he, him pronouns. I'm a half senior, half junior double major in
Real.
poli-sci, political science, and acting, and I play Hunshin in Spring Awakening.
Woo!
I'm back. Hi. My name is Becca. I use she, her pronouns. I am an acting major, BFA, with a concentration in musical theater, and I play Thea, spelled like Thea, Thea, but pronounced Thea in Spring Awakening.
Yay!
Because of a German.
So if you couldn't guess, today we are going to be discussing Arcadia's upcoming production of Spring Awakening, book and lyrics by Stephen Sater, music by Duncan Sheik, is that correct? Based on the play by Frank Wedekind, which is being directed by the Robbie Hager, and happening here on campus in the Little Theater, February 22nd to 25th. The tickets are now available.
Get your tickets now.
Get your tickets
Buy
now.
them.
They
They're
are
technically kind of free.
They're pay what you can, as I've mentioned several times before. Pay what you can. So, fellow college students, you can pay $0.
Or you can give a nice donation if you're feeling.
Exactly. If you're feeling generous.
If you're feeling sugar mommy.
All right. So, it's okay. It's too late now. All right. So, you three are all in Spring Awakening. You guys have talked about your roles a little bit. Does one of you guys want to give me a little brief, no spoiler synopsis of Spring Awakening?
I'll do it. Let me at him.
Woo!
So, the way I like to describe Spring Awakening is it's essentially what happens when you don't give horny teenagers sex education.
Yeah.
And it's set in 1890s Germany, and it's the story of, a bunch of, teenagers in 1890s Germany, and it's about discovery, it's about,
realizing
who you are and what you want, and it's really a beautiful story, and you should get tickets for it.
Yay! I feel like there's also a big content warning on this show. This show has a lot
Definitely.
of rough topics, that kind of stuff. Definitely not for children.
Don't bring your kids.
Do not bring your
not
kids. Yeah. So let's get started. This production is being directed by Robbie Hager, who is going to be on the podcast next week.
Love him.
Is that
Love that.
confirmed?
I'm pretty sure it's
That's so
confirmed.
fun.
If it's not, then this is gonna look so silly. But but I'm pretty sure it's confirmed. So does one of you guys wanna talk about Robbie, and also tell me what it's been like working with him?
I would love nothing more than to talk about Robbie Hager. Okay,
Real and
so
true.
you'll get your chance as well.
Go off.
So he was actually involved in the original Broadway cast of Spring Awakening. He was a swing, and he's so much fun to work with. He's such a little bundle of joy. We talk about Drag Race. We talk about everything gay under the sun. And do you guys remember that one time after rehearsal, like our first Saturday rehearsal, we were like, okay, so give us the tea.
Don't say we. I did it. I asked. I was the
just
brave one.
Christian.
Do you guys
So-
want to give some lore for the theater people who might not know what you're talking about?
Yes, of course. So basically, if you're unaware, the original Broadway cast of Spring Awakening featured Leah Michele and Jonathan Groff and a bunch of other famous people that
Crazy.
he worked very closely with, which boggles my mind.
No,
Mhm.
literally. I think about that every single day.
Indeed. So we asked him, we were like, well, Christian asked, let's make this clear. So give us the tea. Can Leah Michele read? And
For people like my mom listening who don't know what that means, you wanna explain?
I'm happy to. There was I don't know how long it went on for, but there was this ongoing thing where there was this rumor that Leah Michele could not read, and there was never any hard proof that she couldn't, but there was like never any hard proof that she could, and it was this weird thing of like
It's this weird like theater kid conspiracy.
It's very very theater kid. But I asked Robbie, and his response was, "Guys, listen. Of course, everybody can read. Now, have I ever seen her read? That's a different question." And then we were bonded forever.
Keeping the hope
All of
alive.
us and Robbie.
You know? Yeah.
And then
Indeed.
Casey French said he wants to live in a world. He doesn't want to live in a world where Leah Michelle can read.
Sure.
I think it was
very
Casey.
Casey
I
French
was trying to
plays
get
all adult
Casey
men.
French on the podcast, but
Casey French is a busy, busy man.
a busy
Indeed.
bee.
Aren't we
So
all?
we're going to see how that goes. So talking about rehearsals a little bit, what's rehearsals been like for this? Because this is this is a musical, so different than some of our other rehearsal process. We were talking, Christian, when you were on the podcast, we were discussing the Laramie Project and how that rehearsal process was different. Do you guys want to talk about what this rehearsal process has been like and how it differs or is similar from previous experiences, or just any fun facts?
Sure. This rehearsal process for me at least has been really fun and explorative. Is that a word?
Exploratory?
Exploratory.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I
Yeah.
mean.
You're a creative writing major. I'm a creative writing minor. I don't think I've mentioned that. But
I'm just a girl. Anyways,
just a girl
in the world. No, sorry, getting off track. Our music director Jake is so fun to work with. We love Jake.
I love Jake.
so much.
Maybe Jake is gonna be on the podcast. I don't know. I don't know if it's happening. We have to talk to Michelle about it, but we're gonna see. Anyway, continue.
Oh,
Sorry.
so true.
So sorry.
It's been a very comforting space where we can like play and we can explore together these types of subject matters, which is really like near and dear to a lot of us. And I think it's been really cool. And personally, this is one of my dream shows, so I'm so excited to be a part of it. And overall, it's just been a really amazing experience. Like, we've laughed together, we've belted together, we've sobbed together for like 30 minutes. That was a fun day.
That's not an exaggeration. It's like
That was actually
No,
like
we
30
quite
full
literally
minutes.
all
sobbed together.
sobbed
Yep.
for like a cumulative 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Give or
That's
take.
theater.
And that's theater.
That is theater.
But does anyone else want to talk about?
I'll talk. Yeah, it's very different from the Laramie Project, and it's kind of like a little whiplash in the sense of Laramie. There were so many characters for one actor to do, and this one, we all get to focus in on our own. And something that's been like interesting is I feel like we're all called all the time,
Yeah.
even when like we're not set to work, we're all called all of the time, which means we spend quite a lot of time together.
Yay.
And like it's easy to do when everybody is your bestie, but it also means that we're all always tired because we're all college students.
That's theater.
And, yeah,
That's theater.
and it usually means that half of us are barely functioning like throughout the day, and because of that everybody is very comfortable and vulnerable with each other, and it allows us to have 30-minute cry sessions about really sad things in the world. So like it's a rough show, but like
But we're family.
but we're like I mean,
Yeah.
oh, that's so corny. It's such a corny
But
thing.
it's so real.
I mean, it is very, very real. And I'm very much looking forward to spending 12 hours in the little theater with everybody on Saturday, and then another 12 hours on Sunday. Lots of fun. Lots of fun.
She might be crying now, but she loves. It's
Becca cries a lot.
Shut up.
Thank God.
This.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it? Okay.
Yes.
This rehearsal process has been wildly different from anything I've ever done. Spring Awakening is also one of my dream shows, and I've been like, it was my top album in like 2018.
Real.
Like literally, I love this show, and yeah, I wasn't in the Laramie Project. This is my first like theater production with Arcadia University. I was I was in.
Welcome to the cult.
Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome to the cult.
I was in Murder Mystery Dinner, but that was like an honors program thing. And
You
not
slay
theater.
honors.
Killed that. That was so good.
Literally.
Literally.
I didn't actually. Kill
Well,
it.
no,
I
you
was-
didn't,
I
but,
was
like,
not the murderer.
It was killed. You know?
Thank you, Barbie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been wildly different because I went from, well, Micah lore time.
Thank you, Michael Lord.
I am from rural Texas, which
Mm.
is a very, like, I like to say that I got the same sex education as these 1890s German Catholic kids.
Yeah.
So, like, the shows that we did in high school were very, like, they did not deal with themes like this at all. Like, they were very, like, tame compared to this.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things are tame compared to
Yeah,
fucking
that's
Spring
true.
Awakening.
Yeah.
This
Sorry.
is true.
I can't say bad words, can I?
It's okay. Don't
sorry.
worry. I'll bleep them out.
A lot of things are tame compared to Spring Awakening, but it's like it's like such whiplash, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, this like, you know, it's. At first I was like, oh my god, I'm not a theater major. I don't know any of these people. Like I knew y'all, but I wasn't like in any of the classes.
Yeah.
But it's been like, I was just so immediately accepted into like the group, and it was like, oh my gosh, come on.
Micah.
We love Micah.
She's gang.
But this goes to something that we were talking about last week on the podcast with Becca and Michelle and Veronica. We were talking about how you know, in our program here at the school, like, you have BFAs and you have BAs and you have like you know, theater arts minors and all these like people who are you know, who are doing productions, who are in classes with one another, and it's like a level playing field compared to other colleges who might kind of make that like a weird hierarchy. But like also we have non-majors in shows and in like other, and even in classes and stuff all the time. Like yourself, for example, also last year I know we had some, I know if we have Allison who was in Trailblazers with us.
And she's what, like some kind of
She's
biology
biology, I think,
major.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like we like anyone can audition for any production, and obviously anyone can get into any of the productions regardless of experience, regardless of what your major is, regardless if you're in the classes. Just like, you know, come try out.
Yeah, I love to talk about this. I auditioned for Into the Woods as a I mean, I'm a theater major now who is now doing classes, but when I auditioned for Woods and got cast, I had literally I don't even know that I saw one Arcadia theater production, and it was Fugitive Songs. I had never taken a class, and I auditioned as a non-theater major, and now I've been like sucked into the
Indoctrinated.
yes. Now I've been sucked into the cult.
And he was a lead in Into the Woods.
Yes,
I might
he was.
say.
You played.
I played Jack. There were giants.
There were
All up in the
giants,
sky.
and they were in the sky.
They were all up in that sky. They were. Can confirm.
Can confirm
Yeah.
there were definitely giants up there.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
But no, I love that's we were talking about it last week, and it was just like, it's so like nice that like we're all so like, we all are like, we're all in this together.
It's a really inclusive environment.
It
Like,
really
it's-
is. Like, to me, it's almost like scarily so. Like, not in a bad connotation at all. But like, no, but you know what I mean. Like, I know a lot of other people who are, you know, friends of mine from high school who have gone to other schools for theater, for like acting, or who are non-theater majors and want to, you know, like get involved in stuff, and it's like, it's difficult for them, or like they've got, you know, all this stuff going on with different things, and I'm like, well, I don't have to do with any of that here. I'm like,
Not at Arcadia.
not at
University.
Arcadia University.
It's also so
Um,
exciting for theater major because like we spend all day. Like I love
Yeah.
Becca to death, but like I see Becca every single day. So when like Micah comes in and it's like, hey, look, there's a newbie. It's like, new blood, go! And like all the theater majors are so excited to like. We love when non-theater majors.
Yes,
come.
we
It's
do.
So
Thank you,
thank you.
exciting.
It's
I love my fans.
We are your fans, Micah.
Micah's like, I'd like to thank the Academy.
I have to thank the Academy.
real and true. No, but all right. Switching gears a little bit. We touched on this before about how this is kind of rough content for the shows. So I wanted to kind of delve into that, of what's that kind of been like going through and working with content that is so difficult. How is that approached in the rehearsal room? How is that approached for you personally? Do you have ways of safely going through and experiencing those emotions?
Definitely.
And also talking a lot about, there's also a lot of intimacy coordination for this. I know there was a what's the word?
The intimacy workshop?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was looking for workshop. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's there was a workshop. What was like what was that like? How has that been involved into this process and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I guess I'll talk for a little bit. So we have an intimacy coordinator hired, Eli. We love them very much.
We love
Yay.
Eli.
And anything that has to do with any sort of intimacy, whether it be like any form of physical touch or like a kiss or the scenes that are in the show that are a lot more provocative,
Yes,
intense. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a closed rehearsal with the people that are involved in those scenes, and they're involved with the intimacy coordinator. So everything is handled very sensitively and very carefully, which is very important. Like nothing is done in the rehearsal process before it's like talked about, like like you're not expected to like go and like do like a stage slap without like having it seriously like planned and talked through beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And Arcadia also hired oh my gosh, what was her name for the intimacy workshop? I don't know.
I unfortunately could not make it to the workshop.
Face exactly.
Is it Bess?
Finn,
Bess. I
don't
think
know
it was
her last
Bess.
name.
Finn
Yes.
behind the camera is yeah.
Thank
Is
you,
the
Finn.
saying. Thank you,
Yes.
Finn.
Thank
So
you, Finn.
we had her come in and teach a workshop for not only people involved in Spring Awakening, but a lot of other people that on campus were interested in learning about intimacy coordination. We had people from in the major, we had people from Cabaret Club come and join the workshop, and it was really it was helpful, and it was really eye-opening to all the things that we need to learn about as theater makers. And it was really cool. And I know you guys have a lot of intimacy stuff in the show. So do you wanna?
Yeah, Micah and I do a few.
Doo-doo.
Thank you, Micah. Thank you. Yes, we have our own little set of intimate moments, and this is actually the first show I've worked on that has had an intimacy director. And Eli also doubles as a really awesome fight director too, which is like fantastic. They're great, and yeah, we had so many conversations at the beginning of like, the idea of consent and the idea of like revocability and like there's just so many, like it's never just all right, jump in and make out. Like it's there are so many conversations. There are so many like ways like to be like, hey, let's try something else. There's backup plans. There's like different motions we can do to like and it's always like there's always a check-in, and like Becca said, it's like a closed rehearsal, so it's like but and it's not only us advocating for ourselves, but Eli being there is also really helpful in the sense of like, sometimes like something will be proposed and Eli will do like a quick check-in and be like, well, are you guys cool with that? And that's always really, really appreciated. And anytime something is not like something is like off limits, or I'm on like 3 hours of sleep, and finding words right now is ridiculously hard.
You're killing it.
Every
You're
time
slaying.
Christian says like,
Yeah,
we have a little.
That's me slowly losing brain function. But where was I going with this? But no, it's been great having check-ins, and it's been great having the like safety is such a huge thing, and I have personally never once felt unsafe, even in the more uncomfortable or awkward moments that have happened. Micah, do you have any?
Oh, okay. Like Christian said, we do have that scene in Christian and I have an intimate scene together, but there's also other scenes where it's like they talk about like very like Becca was saying, like very heavy stuff. And like even if we're not in those scenes, watching those scenes is also like it's a very like it's a difficult process, and then like there's like never, how do I say this? Like there's so many ways to like back out and say like these are my boundaries, I can't do this, or like I don't feel comfortable doing this. But like Christian was saying, I have never felt like unsafe, even when like I've been super nervous, I've been super like, oh my god, this is very emotional for me right now, but it's never been like this is bad,
Yeah, like even when we were like sobbing in rehearsals, like that wasn't necessarily like an intimate moment in the show, but it was something that struck a lot of us in a really deep way.
Yeah.
So we took a step back and we like talked about it, and we had that moment together, and it's a really healthy environment, and it's honestly one of the coolest experiences I've had so far in my career, where you could just feel free to like let those emotions happen and like let loose, you know? Like it's honestly been really, really nice.
A healthy way to deal with some rough topics,
Yeah.
which is, I feel like, is not always the case when you're, you know, going through and doing work, especially if you're going through and doing private work. But I wanted to talk more about the whole idea of, like, you know, intimate moments, but also that can be for other things too that might not even directly involve intimacy.
Yeah.
I remember, well, one, I wanted to also talk about workshops and how we have workshops, so remind me about that later.
Will do.
But it was making me think of, like, I know that there's been other stuff that, like, we've done maybe more in, like, you know, a classroom setting and stuff like that, where it's like those discussions are also involved. There's usually check-ins involved to ensure that people are okay with a lot of the content that's being covered. I remember just the first example that came to my mind, so let me know if you guys have any other examples, but was last semester in Jared's Acting 3 Shakespeare class. My so sorry. My like final monologue that I was doing, which I handpicked myself, it was my choice, was one of Juliet's monologues from Romeo and Juliet that was like at the end where she's determining if she wants to end her life and all that kind of stuff. And like there was several check-ins with Jared that was like, I want, like, you know, if like I like that's a really hard place to go to. I want you to be safe when you're going to that place. I don't want you to, like, whatever. There's discussions that was around that. And I know that there's been stuff like that in like other forms when there's been scenes that are a little bit more rough, like even just like for classes and stuff like that.
I feel like at Arcadia specifically, because I haven't had this kind of experience anywhere else thus far in my life.
Yeah.
We take comfortability of our actors and our like fellow like castmates and whatever very seriously. Because it's been in the past and like still to this day in some spaces, you're expected to go 100% and like put in all of the effort, all of the time, to the point where you're exhausting yourself or you're putting yourself in a harmful place.
Mentally or physically.
Right.
Yeah.
And here, that's prioritized inside and outside of the productions, like even in classes, like you were mentioning. It's really prioritized that everyone feels safe and is safe. And I feel like that's something that's really important that we're exploring as a university together. And like that clearly has come up a lot in Spring Awakening. And I feel like that's really... Did anyone else want to...
Yeah, the number of times that Robbie or Mel or our choreographer Mel or Michelle, our AD, like the number of times we have heard like, hey, this is rough. If you need to step away and like take some time for yourself, go do it. No judgment. We'll hold. It's fine. There's no pressure to just be like, oh, I know that you're literally breaking down in tears on the floor, but like, could you get it together so that we can finish this scene? Like, there's always time to take. There's always space to take, and the like everybody has been very supportive of one another. That like when we had our big cry sesh, there were just hugs were flying everywhere. So it's just like comfortability is a huge thing, and that's a really good way to put it, because it's such an uncomfortable show.
Yeah.
So like having any type of comfort at all is like, when you have it, it's so appreciated and it's so important. And that's honestly like that's a huge reflection of the cast and creative team
that you can be
works on it.
comfortable in a show that is intended to be uncomfortable. Because from what I'm hearing of you guys discussing, like this has been like you guys have all loved this process is what I'm hearing. And like this has been like, you know, like incredible, and I love that like that was able to happen for you guys, because this show I feel like can be so incredibly fun, and it can be so incredibly uncomfortable, and can be really, really rough, but also like it's a fun show at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Or at least most of it is. No spoilers. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else the one we took on that section? Or should we move on?
I mean, I feel like I've said everything
Yeah.
I can say.
Uh,
on
Word.
that,
My
but-
piece is
Okay. I wanted to mention briefly. This is on my list, but or did you want to say anything? Okay. I wanted to mention briefly. We mentioned the intimacy workshop. We've done several workshops here at Arcadia. There was one a little bit ago with Charlie. I don't remember his last name.
Marcel?
I believe so. Charlie came in and did a one-man show, and also held, a workshop that was discussing stuff about the show and a lot of those different kinds of things. But Arcadia does a lot of workshops. This is just like, shameless plug, but Arcadia does a lot of workshops. And they're like we mentioned before, they're open to anyone who wants to come, not just theater majors, not just people in the shows, not just people in certain classes. They're open to anyone, and they are, publicized for anyone who wants to come and do them. And they have different ones that are like, arranged for different things. Like recently we had the intimacy workshop, which was centered around Spring Awakening, but it was not just covering Spring Awakening. It was just covering intimacy as a whole. But yeah, moving on from that.
Come to Arcadia. You'll get a lot of fun workshops
So
that
true.
teach you so much.
Exactly. And they better your craft, better yourself, better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Better your better.
Better your better.
Find your bliss.
Find your bliss.
Find your bliss.
Spring Awakening inside joke. Oh. Wow. Somebody's washing dishes.
No, there's a snowstorm at Yes and.
So sorry, I have no idea what that's about.
There's a little static.
Hold
Hmm.
on, I'm gonna mute mics to see. So sorry, technical difficulties. 1 moment.
Party.
Mic. It's not that mic. It's not that mic. That's concerning.
Fascinating. Well.
Zara's editing skills are gonna have to be on point for this.
Oh boy. Can everyone check their connections up here?
I mean, I think it's.
All right. Well, I have no idea where that sound's coming from.
Can't do it. You do it.
Okay.
Well, peculiar.
Hmm.
Let's just talk really loud over it, and no one will know.
All right. I there was a few things that I wanted to ask you guys. So more. So I'll just do it very briefly, and then we'll close this out. I wanted to say what's been the most difficult or the biggest learning experience from the show so far, and also what's your favorite moment. So just real brief little just sentimental moment, whatever stuff. My thing was not connected. I don't know.
I thought Zara was like, I fixed it, but no, alas.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I need to think of the first question. My
And
favorite
just,
moment
speak
in the show, or my favorite moment from the.
I mean, your favorite moment from the process from the show, and then also what's been your biggest learning experience.
Well, my favorite moment in the show is Totally Fucked, which is just it's such a great rock out moment.
I feel like that's completely fine because that is the name of
that
the
is
song.
in fact the name of the song.
And also, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything in this episode. It's Spring Awakening.
Very fun rock out moment.
Real.
Everybody on stage. It's fantastic. Favorite moment from rehearsal is watching Robbie hop around during Totally Fucked. That's really all I'm gonna say on that matter. And biggest learning curve or biggest takeaway. Probably what I said earlier, which is just like you can find comfort in uncomfortable matters.
Yeah.
Some shows are going to be uncomfortable, some things are going to be awkward, some things are going to be weird, and some things are going to be dark, and there is light in everything.
Aww.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Rail.
So how the fuck am I supposed to follow that up? I'll go.
Just say anything.
Just talk really loud
so
into the mic.
The hardest moment
The
of
dishes.
the show for me, honestly, has been separating character from actor,
Mm.
because this show has been not just this production, but Spring Awakening as a whole has meant so much to me for so long.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think like separating character from actor has been like a big like I've struggled with it in the past, but it's never been this much of an issue because this show is so like deals with such heavy themes.
Yeah.
Talked to my therapist about it, and we're fine.
But
But
thank God.
so yeah, so that's been like a like separating like I am not my character.
Yeah.
Or like the actions that my character takes are not
Or
representative
not my
of me.
actions. Yeah.
So that's been a little learning curve for me. And then my favorite moment in the show, it's not really, well, the moment is awful, but out of context, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
The line where Moritz says, just fuck it right, enough, that's it. You'll still go on well for a bit. Another day of utter shit. It makes me giggle. It's a funny line.
And then there were none.
And then there were none.
And then there were none.
And it's a banger song.
It is a banger.
It,
A bop.
yeah,
It's a bop.
Several bangers in the show.
real and true.
And
Ray
several
bodies it every time.
And I'm also
so many talented singers too. May I just say?
Oh my
I'm
God.
also, of course, a totally fucked enthusiast, and also a Word of Your Body reprise too is gonna hit every single time.
Word.
Love that song.
Yay! Becca.
Okay, and then there was me.
And then
There
it
was
was
one.
And then there was
Becca.
one.
And then there was one. Sorry, Spring Awakening joke.
Come see it, you'll know.
You will.
You'll get it.
So my favorite moment in the show is definitely when all the girls come out for Mama Who Bore Me reprise. It's
Real.
We feel
So good.
it's so powerful. It's
I've
so,
seen the
like,
TikTok.
It's so like anti the man, anti like it's just rebellion against everything that's like frustrating in your life, and it's just like all the things that you are being kept from, and you just like we just get out there and rock out as girls, and it's so empowering.
Killer opening, too.
Literally.
Yeah, it's
And it's such a stark contrast from like the first Mama Who Bore Me.
yeah. What
It's
what
just
a
immediately.
what
like,
a way to open the show.
literally.
Um,
so excited to
my
hear
f-
you all do it.
My favorite moment in rehearsal was seeing the first time you guys running Bitch of Living.
Real. That song is so
Because-
fun.
I also saw the TikTok of that.
Okay, like this is like it's okay. Bitch of Living is basically Mama Who Bore Me reprise, but for the
For the
guy
men.
For the guys.
for the
For the
boys,
guys.
and it was just so like rebellious and fun to watch, and you guys were having so much fun with it. And like just jumping around on chairs and being like, "Do we think we want this? Oh, who knows?" Like, so good.
And the choreography for that is
It's
so fun
so
too.
fun. Like,
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, Mel.
What a genius.
What a genius.
and then a takeaway from this show. So many things that are just flooding my brain, and not one is just coming. But like, I guess really learning how to advocate for yourself in a rehearsal space. That's something that I've always
Thank
had
God for
trouble
that.
with because, yes, of course. And like I was saying before, like you're always expected to like push through emotions and not just like process them in
Yeah.
the moment. And I feel that's something that I've also talked with my therapist about.
Thank you, therapy.
Thank you,
Yes.
therapy.
And this process has taught me that like it's okay to kind of take those moments for
Yeah.
yourself, because in the end it will ultimately produce a better performance, you know?
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day you're the actor first and not the character, so it's
Yeah.
like you have to like prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
And that has probably been one of my biggest takeaways and learning experiences from this process.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for being on this episode of the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
I again apologize for the washing dishes rain white noise in the back for the last I don't know.
No, it's there
7
on
minutes.
purpose. It's there. We're here to
It's-
lull
it's
you to
obvious.
sleep.
He's
it's
taking a shower
ambiance.
behind the camera.
That's so
Shout out Finnegan. We love him
Yeah.
very
Shout out Finn.
much.
We love
We
you,
love
Finn.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and or listening to this episode of the Yes and podcast. Come see Spring Awakening
see
here
Spring Awakening.
Please come see it,
Arcadia
please. We're
in the
working so
Little
hard.
Theater.
There's no excuses.
February 22nd through the 25th. You can get your tickets on the Arcadia website, in the link in our bio on Instagram, also probably in the link in the bio on TikTok, also probably on our Facebook. Or just ask someone if you are familiar.
Hunt one of us down. We'll give you the link.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know we had a Facebook.
We do.
Wait, we
Look
have
at
a
that. We do
Facebook?
have a Facebook.
For all like the parents out there, probably.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dad.
exactly. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you next week for interview, hopefully, knock on wood, with Robbie Hager and potentially some of the other members of the team. It's up in the air. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being on the podcast. And I hope you all have a very good weekend and week and whenever you're watching this. Bye.
Bye, besties.
And we are going to cut.